Hello, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Running a little bit late today. Decided to go fancy. And I went with a little bit of no-name artificial whipped cream for my cafe de olla, my Mexican coffee. Cheers, everybody. I will say that the whipped cream does add a little something. I do love my Mexican coffee. It is the only coffee that I drink. And now that we've been going live every week, I'm just going to multitask here. Don't mind me. Now that we've been going live every Wednesday, I'm actually getting in the habit of having a coffee every week. I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it is what it is. So welcome, and thanks for tuning in today. We've got a bunch of different topics to cover today. So here is I didn't do it properly. Okay, a true test of the multitask. Let's see if we can do this. Okay, so I will show this to you. These are the topics, but clearly I did not download that page with the transparent background. So we shall try this again. Anyways, today we have several different topics. We're going to talk about resort drinking water. This is one that comes up a lot. And for those of you who are tried and true travelers, you've been around the block or around the resort a few times. For you, this is not the issue. But for those of you who are new to travel, this is definitely a question that comes up, and a fairly valid one. Okay, we are going to, there we go. See, we can multitask. We are going to skip the fanciness of the going from topic to topic today, and we're just going to keep those up there. But in the interest of moving along, we will keep them like that. So resort drinking water is the first one we're going to talk about. Then we're going to move on to lazy rivers and whether or not those should include alcohol. We're seeing actually a lot of new resorts, including the new Dreams Estrella Del Mar in Mazatlan. Dreams in Mazatlan is going to be offering a lazy river. Some of the resorts in the Dominican, the New Sunscapes, I believe, are offering new lazy rivers. The new Marriott in Cancun, which is switching to all-inclusive, that is happening, I think it's in March or April, and that is going to include a lazy river. But the big question is, are all of these going to include alcohol? I don't think that having alcohol as part of the lazy river options is a make or break. It's certainly a nice thing to have. That said, I could see later in the day a few too many tequila shooters or whatever kind of shooters, and that lazy river is going to get pretty messy. I don't think I've actually been at a resort where they've had to shut it down for either drinks spilled in the pool or for biochemical reasons. But I do note that that does happen from time to time. And honestly, I love drinking, a nice drink with some whipped cream or a Caesar, Bloody Caesar, also known as like a Bloody Mary, except the main difference is the type of tomato juice that they use, tomato juice. And I couldn't imagine swimming through that. That would just be utter uck. I've got a survey preview for you. We launched this out to the members earlier this week as a advanced view of it. We're going to talk about technology and using that towards eliminating the pool chair saving game. I really think this could work. I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are on this. There's absolutely no reason. Look. Oh, well, cheers. Hey. So yummy. With the Rio resorts, you'll recall that when I talked about some of those and some of the newer openings earlier this year, earlier this year, last year, late in 2023, that I mentioned that it was because of us, it was because of our vocal, vehement, vociferous feedback that they have moved away from the open concept bathrooms. They're keeping them bright and airy and open-ish, but with a door. And there's no reason that we can't cause the same thing to happen with this forever pool chair saving, and even on the beach. The chair saving game, like, everybody's so done with it. So how can we get rid of this? Let's talk about that in a few minutes. We're going to talk about all-inclusives in Spain, how those are really making a breakthrough. And, why not have that be your next all-inclusive destination? Change it up. Instead of going to Mexico, go to Spain. Price-wise, it's fairly similar. And then also coming up this weekend, how legit is your resort's 5 stars? Which I think will be an interesting one, and perhaps one that people aren't aware of. So that's a video preview, so we're going to talk very briefly about that, but nonetheless. So let's talk about resort drinking water. And whether or not this is okay. So for the most part, all resorts have a water filtration system. And I mean, look, if you're staying at, if you're staying at Bob's Mexican Hacienda, they may or may not have a water filtration system. But if you're staying at a chain resort, they obviously will. And if they're pouring you water from a jug into your glass at a restaurant, that is clearly something that's been filtered. They do not need 1,000 bad reviews on TripAdvisor or Google, which will impact what happens when let me just step back a second. TripAdvisor, I mean, there's still some people out there that believe in these reviews. By and large, there's a lot of resorts, and I'm not going to name them, but there's resorts that I've been to where the employees are incentivized to either write their own reviews, have their family write reviews, or encourage guests to write reviews that are positive of that resort, and specifically to name that employee, because if they're mentioned so many times, they get rewards. They can get free night stays. For their whole family, they can get free dinners. They can get other prize packages. So it's in their best interest to do this. It's also in their best interest to knock down their competition nearby if that is posing a threat to them. So, TripAdvisor, you take that with a grain of salt. There's been countless lawsuits where it's been proven, especially that one, I think it was in Spain, where the resort was rated as a 5-star, had amazing reviews, didn't even exist, never existed. It wasn't like it was there and then it shut down. It was completely fictitious, and it was somebody trying to game the system. And in fact, they did, and they proved that the whole review system was a bit of a mockery. That said, on Google reviews, they can have the same element of illegitimacy. However, you do have to be logged into your Google account, and for whatever, for a lot of logical reasons, people they don't want to chance their Google account. But if you've written reviews on Google, what can happen is, for the resort, if they start getting bad reviews, it costs them more to do ads. And so when you're doing a search of best resorts in Cancun, for example, and I don't know what resort would come up right now at the top, but let's say, for example, it was the Oasis Cancun. And, we talked about this last week. The Oasis is a great resort for spring breakers, for younger travelers, for new travelers who've never done the all-inclusive thing before. If you want a party resort, this is the place for you. If they're trying to attract that sort of 30 to 50-year-old audience, this is not where it's going to happen. But if it comes up at the top of your search results, you might be inclined to think, well, it must be one of the best. But they are paying for those ads. And as I say, the cost of the ads does increase if your Google review rating goes down. So that's just something that definitely resorts and businesses are aware of. And so they will try to maintain the integrity of their reviews. So back to the drinking water situation. Obviously, they're going to have bottled water in your rooms, and that's completely safe. There's usually bottled water at reception, at any of the restaurants, at any of the bars that you can get, and that's completely safe to drink. And as I said, the filtered water, ice cubes as well are generally speaking. I don't know of a resort that has made ice cubes without using filtered water. I mean, that said, we've probably all seen some variation of Gordon Ramsay's hotel nightmares or kitchen nightmares where filtration systems can only work as well as they are being maintained. So whether you're in New York City or in Cancun, Mexico, there's bacteria in both places. And if it's not cleaned on a regular basis, it's going to be a problem. But filtered water is the case at all of these resorts. And especially if you're talking a 5-star resort, you may even have drinkable water from the tap. Not sure if I would trust that because a lot of the piping can be a little bit on the older side. And if it's got any copper or lead or anything like that, then that could be a problem. But usually a resort will say if it says non-potable, then don't even be brushing your teeth in that water because it's no bueno. It's not filtered. It's not clean. And it could be a problem. If you have a really like a lead stomach, it's probably not going to be a problem. If you're like me and have a little bit more of a sensitive tummy, why waste a day or two of your vacation by brushing your teeth in that tap water and then having a problem? I just use the bottled water. No problem. Done. Okay, moving on to lazy river resorts and whether or not they should include alcoholic beverages whilst you are cruising the lazy river. What do you think? Also, I'd love to hear from you on the comments. Where are you watching from? And are you a subscriber to the channel or not? Curious. So lazy rivers, what do you think? Should they have alcohol allowed? I mean, look, if you're sitting in a nice, comfy donut and you're cruising around the lazy river, if it's one that's got waterfalls and other water features where you're going to get wet along the way, then perhaps the splash factor is not a good idea. Again, nobody wants to be swimming through somebody's ex pina colada or, what's the Miami Vice? Isn't that the blue one with the pina colada mix? Not so much fun. And also, look, maybe until a certain time, maybe until noon or something, alcohol is allowed. And then after that, it's cut off because then the shenanigans can begin. And we don't want to have, it's not only that, it's also a liability issue. And a lot of these resorts, as they're incorporating things like water slides and lazy rivers, you're increasing the slippery surfaces of the resort, and you're also increasing, just generally increasing the danger spots. So from a liability perspective, they're going to want to mitigate alcohol usage as much as possible with those activities. And look, again, if you have a couple of drinks and you think you're fine, but you're not quite, do you really want that to ruin your vacation? Probably not. Probably not. I think I would dare say nobody wants that to happen. So should they restrict the alcohol? I don't know. I mean, look, if you're going to spend 3 or 4 hours in the lazy river, then yeah, you're probably going to want a cocktail or at least a mocktail to enjoy. But if you're just going to go around a couple of times, then I think probably everybody could handle that. Okay, let's talk about the survey sneak preview. This is an idea that I had the other day. I don't think I have an air tag in here, but I do have my Hyatt. Oh, I do actually. No, I don't. Don't mind me. Just popping in and out of the screen. Okay, so yes, I got sucked into buying one of these. This is from the Hyatt Ziva Los Cabos. And this actually is, it's just one of your typical wristbands. But because all of the doors are digital now and you normally use your room key, with this, I don't need a room key. I can just be like, boop, beep, beep, and the door is open. So that's kind of cool. But where I took this one step further, and what was interesting is on the member poll, it was overwhelmingly in agreement that this was a good idea. But let me know what you guys think. Here's the thing. If this was your room key, a lot of resorts are developing this where it's a wristband or a bracelet, or maybe it's a dongle, like you would have on a cruise ship. Like Princess, for example, they've got the medallions, Princess cruise ships. And as you actually get near your door, the door will open. Here it is. So if I'm wearing this on my necklace, as I approach the door, it will actually unlock it, which is kind of cool. And this is also how on a cruise ship you would pay for your drinks and stuff like that. So what if this was linked to let's say every lounge chair had this embedded technology where you would approach it and somehow you would tap your medallion or your wristband to the lounge chair, boop, and that basically reserved it for you. As soon as you tap it, it's considered reserved, also considered in use. Okay, so we know a lot of times people get up in the morning, they will get their lounge chair, they put their towel down, then they'll go and grab coffee. Or they will go to the buffet for a bite of breakfast to eat. Breakfast isn't going to take more than probably half an hour, 45 minutes. On the outset, on the worst side, it might take an hour. But that's fine. If you go at 7 in the morning, all the lounge chairs are taken, but by 8 a.m., they're all in use. Personally, I don't have a problem with that. It's when at 7 in the morning, all the lounge chairs are taken, and then by 10, 11 in the morning, there's still nobody there. I mean, come on, people. That's not right. So here's the thing. So what if this also had a parameter of, or measured the distance? And so if you were at the pool or the beach area, that was considered still within the fair use area. And if you go back up to your room, but you're gone for, and there's a time frame on this. So you leave your chair, you're gone for X amount of time, that's allowed. Doesn't matter where you go. If you're gone beyond that amount of time and you're outside of the range of the pool chair area, then boop, all of a sudden the chair starts beeping or a little flag pops up that says, I don't care about this crap that's on the chair. Please, attendant, come and remove it. Not only that, they know whose it is because they can actually tap into the system. So they can take all your junk and they can store it somewhere until you decide to grace the pool with your presence again. And I'm being a little facetious here, but it just gets frustrating when you're at a resort for 300, 400, 500 rooms and there's not a single chair available. Am I right? Am I wrong? I mean, how many of you guys have experienced this? So yeah, let's say if you're outside of this area after so much time, boom, the system. So it's not a pool attendant. It's not somebody else who's just taken over your chair. The system clocks out and says, just like a parking spot where you have only paid for a certain amount of time. After that, you're fair game for a ticket. Well, so I guess that's the other question, which I hadn't thought of before, is either A, the chair starts beeping or something to indicate that it is now free until the next person comes on and goes, boop, that's my chair. I'm tagging it for the next however many hours. Or if you leave your chair for X amount of time, what if there was a surcharge? And of course, everybody's going to, challenge this and say, well, the technology didn't work and I was there the whole time and here's my 58 selfies to prove it. And that's fine. Technology doesn't always work. We know this. But wouldn't that be an interesting idea if that could work? I know there'd be a lot of inherent technical expense to this, but what do you think? You know, I mean, it would certainly eliminate this game. And I mean, there are certain just resorts that I've been to before where 9, 10 a.m. in the morning and the chairs are free. So I don't think it's necessarily a it's not all resorts that do this. It's not all people that do this. There's a certain segment out there that are doing this. But would this eliminate that? I don't know. Let me hear from you. I'm going to put this in tomorrow's survey on the community post. So if you haven't looked there before, go to the YouTube page and scroll over. There's videos, live videos and stuff like that, as well as the community posts. And in there, you can see the surveys and posts that I try to do almost every day. And it gives you a chance to give your feedback on stuff. But I don't know. I personally think this could work. And I think it would be a good solution to the whole chair saving game and mean that, I mean, look, I can only take so many hours in the sun. So after 3 or 4 hours, I'm done. I'm out. I'm ready to walk into town, go find a bar, go for some shopping, or what have you. So I don't know. That's just an idea I had, but let me know what you think of this. Gary, hi Gary. Thanks for tuning in. Ran into this problem. 6 chairs in one group reserved every morning. And no one sat in them till 11 a.m. or later. Yeah, that's garbage. So for me, by 11 or 11:30, I'm done with my time in the sun, especially if it's on those, warmer months where it's, 30, which I must learn these key temperatures. I'm gonna say that's what, 85 Fahrenheit. When they went on a day trip and still left all their junk on their chairs. Yeah, that's not cool. If you're gone for the whole day, then no, you definitely should not be allowed to save the chair. I mean, and that's the problem. The staff aren't going to know, and the staff are caught in that the crossfire of, again, going back to the TripAdvisor reviews and the Google reviews, and just general comments on the resort that they truly live in fear. And I've worked for travel agencies before like this, where they live in abject horror, abject fear of a bad review. And it basically means nothing gets done properly. You need to recognize that some people are wrong, that the customer isn't always right, and that sometimes you need to upset one person for the greater good. I mean, imagine if I've been to resorts before where I've seen them removing the towels, and I applaud them. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a resort where you've seen this before, but what do you think? I mean, is that a thumbs up situation, or is that thumbs down when they're removing the towels after that chair has been vacant for 2 going on 3 hours? I mean, I just think that's not cricket. It's not right. Bouncing off the walls again. I will be. Okay, moving on. So let me know what you think about this, the chair saving thing. Is that technology, is that a good idea, or is it something the resort should look into, or some kind of alternative way of doing things? Maybe they just put simple chair numbers. They put numbers on the loungers, and when you go and get your towel for the day, your fresh towel, maybe you sign up for certain chair numbers, and that's it. And if those chairs are vacant for so much time, then boom, you're booted out. Don't know. Let me know what you think. Okay, all-inclusives in Spain. One of the resort chains that I've been to on a fairly regular basis, actually, there's a couple of resort chains that I've been to on a pretty regular basis, and both of these are available in Spain. One of them is, excuse me, used to be the Dreams and Secrets Resorts. Used to be under AM Resorts, was the parent company. Now it's part of the Inclusive Collection by Hyatt. That's just corporate upward change, which really has very little to no effect on the actual resorts themselves. But Secrets and Dreams are a couple of the all-inclusives that are available in Spain, and we're talking, 4 and 5-star properties here. There are other ones. So Alua is one of the ones that actually I stayed at in Spain, in Almeria, which is way down at the south end of Spain, and it was cheap and cheerful. The rooms were adequate, basic, but they were fine. It had a buffet for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. No, and it didn't have any other restaurant. It had basically one bar area. So again, cheap and cheerful. But I mean, for a week, it was $1,000, I think, for 2 people, Canadian, which is cheap as chips. So Spain, as an all-inclusive, is generally quite inexpensive. As long as you can get decent flights there, then you're laughing. Comparing to Dreams or Secrets, and especially in Cancun, where years ago I used to say, LeBlanc or Grand Villas are some of the, ultra luxury all-inclusives. We're talking, there's at least 5-star, which leads me to the next one. But anyways, we'll talk about stars in a second. But we're talking ultra luxury resorts where there's a butler for every room, or at least on every floor, personal concierge, you name it, they've got it. I mean, these are the places where movie stars stay, politicians stay, that kind of thing, because it's a higher end experience. But 10 or 15 years ago, these resorts used to be $700-800 per night. Now, Dreams, Secrets, Riu, these resorts are $700-800 a night for the more popular ones, especially, like the Hyatt Ziva and Zilara Cap Cana. It came in with a storm. It came in offering all the bells and whistles, and really great service, amazing different food options, and it's earned the right to be able to charge that much. Case in point, the resort is almost always, it's not always fully booked, but it's got a substantial amount of bookings for any time of the year, even during hurricane season. So, why not? So where I'm going with this is now, LeBlanc and Grand Villas, those resorts are commanding more like $1,500 to $2,000 per night per room. So prices have gone up exponentially. I mean, more than a loaf of bread has, since COVID, and we've complained about how much inflation has affected our basic costs for groceries and stuff like that. But, to go from, even 10 years ago at $300, $400, $500 a night for a hotel, for a luxury high-end resort, to now talking $1,500 to almost $2,000 per room per night. I mean, resorts like this, vacations like this, are not for the faint of heart. So why not try somewhere new? Again, Spain is on the periphery. It's out there. It's a great new destination to check out. A lot of the resort destinations are more in the southern places on the coast, or on some of the islands. And the island locations are a little bit more difficult to get to, whereas if you're staying on the mainland, yes, that's probably a connector flight from Madrid or Barcelona, but easy enough to get to. And then once you're there, like I said, it's cheap as chips. I found the people to be very, very friendly, at least in the area that we were in, which, as I say, was Almeria, and beautiful beaches, and just a really neat kind of atmosphere where it was, like the late night dinner. If you were going out for dinner at 8 o'clock, you were doing the seniors early bird special kind of situation. So it's just very culturally different. But if you were looking for tried and true and something that the experience and have gotten used to in Mexico, you could do that in Spain, of all places. And for, like I said, for generally speaking, a fraction of the price. You're still going to have it, the Dreams or Secrets. You're going to have the Coco Cafe. That's the 24-hour coffee bar, which also serves snacks throughout the day. You might find the Portofino Italian all-inclusive restaurant, where you don't need to make reservations for dinner, but you can get this lovely pasta. You're in Spain, so you probably want to go for more of the local Spanish restaurants, that kind of thing. But amazing food, lots of fresh seafood, that kind of thing. So yeah, definitely check out the all-inclusive options in Spain. Like I said, so Dreams and Secrets are very common down there. But the other one you can find is the Rio resorts. And to be able to do all-inclusive as a Rio in all these other countries is kind of cool. Rio has historically been very good at offering lots of different all-inclusive options throughout the Caribbean. They did have one in Saint Martin. I got to admit, that wasn't my favorite resort, but it was a beautiful property, sort of an old manor house, which is now Secrets, Saint Martin. It's on the French side of the island, beautiful sunset views, and really close and accessible to Grand Casse, I think it is, and other lovely beach areas and different dining options and stuff like that. As well, there's always been the two Rios in Aruba, and arguably some of the best all-inclusives. And look, I'll be quite frank with you, I'm not setting the bar very high here. It's just that Aruba doesn't have a lot of really great all-inclusive options. In fact, it doesn't have a huge amount of hotels. It's a very small island. You can rent a car, you can drive around that whole sucker in one day, and that's it. You can return the car and you're done. So it's easy to get around. It's easy to see everything, but consequently doesn't have a lot of resort options, doesn't have a lot of competition. So there are the Rios, and they're a solid option for sure. Also in the Bahamas. So, out of the Caribbean, there's lots of options like that. But to now know that there's also these similar caliber all-inclusive options in Spain, yeah, why not? If you're tired of Mexico and the same old, why not try somewhere new? Why not try, heading over to Europe and hitting Spain? If this flight time's just a little bit more, but your hotel's maybe a little bit less, then why not? Okay, moving on to the next topic, and that's coming this weekend. So this is just a sneak preview. The video that I'm working on for this weekend, and I am trying to do, so my current schedule for 2024 is going live every Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific, which is 1 p.m. Eastern, as I work that out in my head. 10 a.m. Pacific is 6 p.m. UK time, I believe. John, Pauline, I don't know if you guys are watching or if you're hunkered down avoiding the storms. John and Pauline are two separate followers for the channel, and Pauline's located in Scotland, northern Scotland, I believe. And John is from, he's a Yorkshire lad, and he often comments on stuff. And so they are in the UK bracing the issue, I think it is, and massive record-breaking winds. And Dean's following, yay. And Dean says, yes, the UK is 8 hours ahead. So 6 p.m. Wednesdays, UK time, is when I'm going live every week. And then every weekend is a brand new video. And this weekend coming up, we're going to talk about the resort stars. What I find ironic, I'm not sure if that's the right word. Ironic, unusual, stupid. I don't know. If you have a resort that has a butler on every floor for the, let's call it a dozen rooms that are on each floor, you've got a personal concierge, you've got arguably 5-star dining, you've got the best cuts of steak, you've got brilliant cuts of fish, crab, maybe lobster, prawns, that kind of thing, as well as, amazing activities, beautiful pool, beautiful beach area. If you've got all of that, and that resort is saying it's 5-star, and then you've got another resort that is, let's call it 2 or 3 blocks from the beach, has a pool that looks like a tennis court, has 2 restaurants, and one of them's a buffet, has a bar that has domestic alcohol only, and not really any activities or anything like that. Okay, so we're comparing the two. Move over here. We're comparing the two. So this one I would argue is legitimately 5-star, but this one with its 2 little dining options, tennis court sized pool, not a whole lot else. This one is saying it's 5-star as well. So what's the deal? So we are going to talk about that this weekend, the whole star rating system, and maybe tell you a couple of things that you didn't know about that, and especially compared to North American, so Canada, US hotels, and what those 5-star resorts are or hotels are like, as well as Europe in the UK. And also comparing to restaurants, because of course with restaurants they've got the Michelin awards, which are a standard that I think is worldwide. And we're just going to talk about that whole situation and how we get these random rubbish resorts that are saying they're 5-star and they truly are not. So we're going to dive right into that on the weekend. Frenchie is saying, have I ever been to Curacao? Yes, I have. I've been to the ABC Islands, Aruba, Bonaire, and Curacao. I haven't been to Bonaire yet, but it's on my list. But I've been to Aruba several times. I've been to Curacao twice, or is it 3 times? Dean, if you're still watching, let me know. How many times have we been? I know we stayed the first time at the Sunscape, and the second time, so we've been twice. The second time we stayed at the Renaissance, which was not all inclusive, which was a really great opportunity to check out some of the restaurants in downtown Willemstad, I want to say. Being at the Sunscape, which is southeast of downtown, and that's twice. Yep, twice. So being at the Sunscape, southeast of downtown, the beach was okay, but it was a man-made enclosure, sort of like what you would see now at Dreams, Port Aventuras, or the Hard Rock Riviera Maya, where the ocean is so strong and has such a steep drop off that they've actually built an enclosure so that you can actually swim in the ocean water without any risk. The Renaissance in Aruba also has that same situation, which is kind of cool because they've got this rocky outcropping which blocks in all the seawater, and they've got a drainage system so that the water does flow. And then on occasion you'll see a cruise ship that's like sailing right by. I don't know, I think that's kind of cool. I just see this floating hotel going by. And so, and the same thing at the Renaissance in Curacao. No, it was up above. It was a man-made beach area. Okay. It was a pool on the hill overlooking the port, or the dock where the cruise ship would come in. And so it was up on the hillside, and they put some sand by the pool. So I guess you get the same idea. It was pretty cool. So I would, but the thing was, when we were at the Renaissance, what we did decide to do is take a tour. There's a beach tour, and I'm like, like, really, is it Curacao having decent beaches? I didn't think so. Whoa, did I learn a lot. I'm gonna actually do a video on that because it was jaw-dropping. We went to 4 different or 5 different beaches, and the first one we drove up to, we got there on the bus, kind of poked through the palm trees and the other greenery and foliage, and walked up to this beach that was out of the cover of a Caribbean magazine. It was absolutely beautiful, and yeah, definitely. And there's an Alpha. I've seen your comments. I'm going to post those up in a second. But yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. There are drivable beaches. You can't walk to them from where the main hotel resorts are in the downtown area. The downtown area is very beautiful, and they've got that pedestrian bridge. It's a swing bridge because it's a massive seaport. So they've got all these Maersk shipping boats, and of course I can't think of any other names of them, but they all come in right where sort of between Old Town and New Town of downtown. Again, I think it's Willemstad, and the bridge swings open. When it's swinging open, there's a little ferry boat that will take you back and forth across, which is pretty cool as well. But otherwise, it's a floating bridge that opens and closes as need be, and it's lit up at night. It's very beautiful. And of course, Curacao, if you've ever seen the pictures, is where they've got all with the Dutch influence, it's a lot of, yellow, pink, green, blue houses or buildings. Very pretty, very interesting, but definitely do a beach tour or rent a vehicle and check it out. Planning on going in March. Didn't see a resort that reminded me of Hyatt Solaris. Yeah, keeping an open mind. There is a 𝖳tu𝖾li𝖾 there, which is more upscale. I think that one did go adult only. So that one's going to be your most upscale. There's also an all-inclusive Hilton, and there's the all-inclusive Dreams. Dreams, of course, is actually Dreams and Hilton are both family-friendly all-inclusives, but those are going to be your best 2 options. Sunscape is still there. Sunscape is part of the Dreams family, but it is a more entry-level product, a more budget option of the chain. So definitely Dreams or Hilton are the ones that I would recommend checking out. Okay, let's go back here now. Alf, 305? 305. So now, okay, I think in Newfoundland, you have that half an hour time difference. Alf, let me know what the deal is there. So if it's 10 a.m. Wednesday Pacific time, what time is that? 3:05 p.m. for you there in Newfoundland? Interesting. I haven't been to Newfoundland yet. Lived in Canada all my life. It's on the list. I'll get there. In fairness, I was booked on a cruise from Boston to the up to the Maritimes and then into Montreal. But that was middle of the summer 2020, so that didn't happen. Right, 30 minutes difference. Okay, so there you go. So that would be Atlantic time, so that's 4 hours. No, but that would be 2 p.m. But maybe, do you guys do daylight savings time or not? This I don't know. Come on, keep going. Let me know. Maybe it should be rated 0 to 100. Yeah. I think what a lot of properties have done is they've just discarded the stars and they've gone to more of a budget. So this is the terms budget. I forget what the minimal, medium, moderate. And then you've got luxury, and then you've got ultra luxury. But the problem is some of these resorts are really going over the top, and do you then go to like ultra luxury experience? And maybe you do, because maybe that makes sense. Okay, so it's 3:14 p.m. now. It's 10:45 here. Okay. Well, y'all know, if you've been watching me for a while, that I suck at my math. So I would be, fortunately, with your iPhone, you've got the option to put your clock and show the different times. So I would be living for that so that I would always know what time it is. Look, it just doesn't really matter. Either the shops are open or they're closed. Either the restaurant's open or it's closed. You get by, right? You figure it out once you get there. It's also saying, just got back from the Haven Resort. Adult only, loved it. That's in Cancun, Mexico. Very nice. That's another one that I haven't been to. There's a few that opened just before COVID, and I didn't have a chance to get to them. I had gone to the Hyatt Ziva Cap Cana. I was there in November and then again in January for a work trip just after it opened. But then, and I managed to squeeze in a trip to Cabo, getting back into the country the day that the borders closed. So, you know, what can you do? So I was kind of limited in that. And then when travel opened up again, it was just like, I don't care where I'm going. Get me anywhere, somewhere sunny, somewhere warm. So, you know, it is what it is. Okay, and Alpha's also saying, what's your take on a small, quiet, adult-only resort? Used to be El Dorado Maroma. Used to be my favorite. It was a boutique resort of about 105 rooms. And then there was a period where that resort chain kind of, I would say, to be kind, maybe what we used to say in the corporate world is there was some scope creep. In other words, they lost a bit of focus. And what happened was they started going crazy with growing palm trees on the resorts. And apparently this is very profitable because they would grow the palm trees to a certain size and then they could sell them to other new resorts at the ripe old price of, I think, close to $100,000 per tree or something crazy. But so the resort became sort of such that you couldn't see the ocean through the palm trees. There's probably a saying within that. Also, they had a lot of nearby resorts, and a lot of them had sharing privileges, and some of them were family resorts, that kind of thing. So, you know, that becomes a problem. Frenchie's saying Hyatt Zilara Riviera Maya. Yeah, this one used to be the Secrets Capri Resort. Yeah, and it is quiet, definitely. It's, oh gosh, 300, I want to say 300 odd rooms, maybe 350 or something. I don't remember offhand, but it is quite small. There's only about 4 restaurants, a la carte, one massive pool area, nice beach area, fairly small. You can walk in one direction for miles, the other direction not so much. But it is adults only, and it is a smaller property. It is on the quiet side. You're not going to find, I mean, they did turn the theater into the disco at night. And honestly, like, from being on West Coast time, it's already 3 hours different for me once I hit Cancun. So actually that just argued the opposite for me, because when it's midnight in Cancun, it's actually 9 p.m. BC time. So just ignore what I just said. But I'm an early riser. I like to see the sunset and sunrise. But I like to get up. I sleep with my curtains open so that when the sun is out, I'm up. And so consequently, when the sun sets, then it's time for dinner, couple of cocktails, and I'm done. There were definitely some younger and older people who were dancing it up all night long, and we did hear, see them at the pool the next day, and they were having a blast, dancing the night away. And they had snacks at the sports bar all night, not all night long, but in late evening. So there definitely was stuff going on, but this is not a party resort. It's not where you're going to find, a disco per se. There's not a whole lot of activity going on in the evening. There might be movies under the stars, but it's fairly quiet. More of a, if you just want to sit back in the evening, sit at the bar and maybe chat with somebody new, um, plan your next stay, that kind of thing. This is a resort for you. But let me think, what else would there be? Um, Mexico, thinking of Cabo, thinking of Puerto Vallarta. You know what? I really like the Sunset Plaza. Gary was just there in a couple months ago. I was there last May, and it was nice. They're building a new tower, so it is going to get a little bit larger. It only had, I think, 2 main restaurants, but what I liked about it is that the resort menu changed every night. So I don't mind eating at the same place if it's got a brand new menu and I can, order something completely different. It's when their options are the same day in, day out that I get a bit bored. But yeah, the Sunset Plaza Resort in Puerto Vallarta is another one I would consider. I'm probably gonna regret not mentioning some after this. But let me think now. Yeah, those would be the main ones. Yeah, and then honestly, if you're looking at on the Cancun side, right in Cancun, I mean the Hyatt Zilara Cancun is actually fairly small. All the rooms have ocean views, and they do have a little bit more going on there. They with the lobby, they've got Cirque du Soleil shows that they'll do, swinging on the not carpets, but like um they're almost like curtains that I don't know what it's called, but they're dancing around and swinging around and stuff, and it's awe-inspiring to even think, how do these people begin to master what they're doing, is amazing, and it's all done to music and stuff like that, so that's pretty cool. They do fire shows and stuff like that, but it is on the smaller side, but at the same time, what is interesting about that property, the Hyatt Zilara Cancun, is that you're not sacrificing any of the amenities. So there's lots of dining options. There is the sports bar lounge that is 24/7. You get drinks in there all day long. There's food throughout the day, overnight, that kind of thing. So if you're on a late flight in, if you arrive early, depending on where you're flying in from or out to, lots of options that way. And so yeah, you've got lots of options. But again, all ocean view rooms and a really great location because you're right on the Cancun Strip there. So if you decide you want to go and check out Coco Bongo, or if you want to go to a nightclub dancing, you can. Coco Bongo, okay. I still have not been to Coco Bongo. Let me know if any of you have been. For many, many years, I was under the delusion or the misinformation that Coco Bongo was just another nightclub, and that, kind of once you're north of 30, north, south, I don't know how that expression works. Once you're past 30, this is really like, you're kind of not going to feel comfortable there. But Jackie, who used to be one of the wedding coordinators at Dreams Aventuras, hi, John. Nice to see you. John is our Yorkshire lad, and coming at us from the UK. So welcome. So Jackie, who is Australian, I think she's relocated back there now, and she was a wedding coordinator for Dreams Puerto Aventuras Resort. She took her parents there, and I was like, really? And when they came to visit one time, and they absolutely loved it. And she explained to me that it's more that it's covers. And so they had a person dressed up as Cher who would come out and lip sync the song, and another person who would come out as Michael Jackson, and so on and so forth. I'm sure these days there's somebody doing Taylor Swift and somebody doing The Weeknd and these people that we hear on the radio ad nauseum. Not for lack of, because they're famous and they're good at what they do. But anyways, so what it is mostly a show, and there's also dancing to it. So look, I'm going to Cancun in April. I haven't officially announced this, but I am going to the Hyatt Vivid Grand Island in April. So stay tuned. I'm going to be coming at you live from there, giving you all the information on this brand new resort concept. So it's not the Hyatt Viva. It's not Hyatt Ziva. It's not Hyatt Zilara. It's also not part of that chain, although some of those chains have kind of switched. It is under the same resort umbrella as Secrets and Dreams. It is all-inclusive. It is adults only. It is on the lagoon. It is not on the beach in Cancun, but it is on the Cancun Peninsula. So there's a lot of different things going on here. But I'm going there in April, so I will let you know. And I'm going to be there for a couple of weeks, so maybe we'll go to Coco Bongo and let y'all know what it's like, and if it's worth going once you're on the older side. Yeah, so we'll see. So there you have it. So that's this week's show. Next week we're going to do something fun. Yeah, I am looking forward to it. Christine, I don't know if you're watching today, Christine T. Yeah, I know, yeah. Gotta love spell check, hey? Christine T and I are both Christine T. So she's another Christine T. She's one of the channel members. And by the way, if you are interested in some behind the scenes content or previews or additional information and posts and other kinds of advanced surveys like we did with the chair saving concept, there are channel memberships that you can subscribe to. These do have a monthly fee. There's 4 different levels, and so we are doing those. Those are available. All you have to do is go to the YouTube channel and you can click where it says join. You're not committing yourself when you click that. That is just going to give you the information on the various levels, and you can check out if you are interested in joining. Next week, for fun, we are going to be live at, it's not noon Pacific, but it's 10 a.m. Pacific. We just went through all this. 10 a.m. Pacific, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. UK time, and somewhere in between that for Newfoundland on the half hour. I'm going to say that would be 2:30. Is that right? Yeah, Alf, let me know if that's 2:30. Anyways, so that's what we're heading out, going to be live next weekend, next Wednesday, and just for fun, because it's the last Wednesday of the month, we are going to do some travel trivia. So I've got a bunch of questions for you. I'm going to see if I can figure out a prize. It'll probably be something like Starbucks, so that it's something that's international. So we're going to see. We're going to see if we can figure this out. And we're going to have some fun with it. We're going to do some travel trivia and see how you do. So it's going to be a participation thing. So you want to make sure you're signed in at 10 a.m. or whatever your local equivalent is, and have your fingers warmed up, get them stretched ahead of time, get them warmed up and ready to post your answers on the keyboard. And we're just going to have some fun with it. And like I said, I'm going to try to do a prize, but we'll see how that works out. And then this weekend, as I said, we've got a video explaining the difference between this was the 5-star that's got the butlers and the concierge and the name brand alcohol and the premium cuts of steak. And then this one's the one that's serving you hot dogs and burgers at the trough for breakfast and lunch, or your lunch and dinner at the buffet. with the rectangular pool, 2 or 3 blocks from the beach, and with local brand domestic alcohol. And both of them are considered or call themselves 5-star. Why? So we're going to talk about this. So that's this weekend's video. Stay tuned for that. And like I said, travel trivia coming up next Wednesday. So be there or be square. And now we come to the fun part. If you haven't already clicked on that like button, please give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos if you haven't already done so. If you are interested in becoming a channel member, click the join button. Doesn't commit you, just gives you the option, gives you the information. You can consider it. You can consider it today, tomorrow, the next day, or later on, or not at all. It doesn't matter. And one little final thing. I did post this on Facebook, but I'm not friends with all of you on Facebook, sadly. But one of the ways that I do make money on YouTube is not only with things like memberships and super chats and stuff like that, but also is just from you guys watching the ads. So if you're watching my videos, please don't hit the skip ad button. Go make yourself a coffee, fix yourself a snack so you can enjoy that while you're watching the video, but watch the ads because that's how I get paid. So that's my little ask for today. So again, thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos. We'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.